If you've ever wondered how you could tap the equity in a home or even LLC-owned investment property, stick around to learn how do HELOC payments and interest work. So this will be a clear breakdown of the payment structure, rate mechanics, and the two phases that determine what you actually owe, so nothing catches you off guard. Let's get fair up it. So what is a HELOC? Quick refresher. If you've got a HELOC or you're thinking about opening one, the payment structure catches almost everyone off guard at some point. It's not a fixed payment. It changes based on your balance, the market, and which phase of the loan you're in. So it's revolving credit, a line of credit secured against your home equity, draw what you need, repay it, and it becomes available again. Like a credit card, flexible access to funds tied to a real asset, whether it's your home or an investment property, and it's a variable rate in most cases, so the interest rate is not fixed. It moves with the market for the life of the loan. Now, where the rate actually comes from, your HELOC rate is built from two distinct pieces that combine to form your actual cost of borrowing. The index, the prime rate. Almost all HELOCs are tied to the prime rate as their index. Prime rate currently sits around 6.75%. This is the baseline that moves with the market. And the margin, the lender add-on. On top of prime, your lender adds a margin of typically 1 to 3%, determined by your credit profile, equity position, and the lender itself. This is where lenders differentiate from each other. So your rate equals prime rate plus lender margin. Now, what that actually adds up to. Put those two pieces together and here's what it looks like in practice. Your credit profile and property type have a real impact on where you land. 8.25% is going to be typical rate as of today, which would be the 6.75 plus a 1.5 margin. 7% on a strong file. A stronger credit profile and primary home can land you closer to 7% overall, or 9% plus on a weaker file. Or if you're trying to do this on an LLC owned investment property, the lender sees that as a riskier loan, so we'll do maybe even 10+%. A weaker credit file or a HELOC on an investment property can push past 9%. So the two periods of a HELOC. A HELOC runs through two distinct phases. Understanding both and what changes between them is essential to avoiding payment shock down the road. So there's the draw period. That's typically going to be 10 years. You pay interest only on your first year, not principal. You can draw and repay freely during this phase. Then there's the repayment period. Typically 15 to 20 years. The loan converts to a fully amortized payment, like a mortgage. No more draws, principal and interest both due. The transition between these two periods is the exact moment that catches most borrowers off guard, especially those who weren't planning for the payment jump. Now, the payment trap most people miss. If you're only making the minimum required payment during the draw period, your balance isn't going down at all. During the draw period, minimum payments cover interest only, the principal sits exactly where it started, then the repayment begins and the payment jumps substantially because you're suddenly paying off that full balance on a much shorter amortization schedule. Draw period minimum payment, interest only, principal is untouched, balance does not shrink. Repayment period payment, fully amortized, principal plus interest, significantly higher monthly obligation. So you don't want to get trapped there. And how interest actually gets calculated. Interest isn't calculated off a single balance at the end of the month. It's based on your average daily balance across the entire billing period when the money moves matters. So 40K all month, 60K then 20K, interest on average. How does that work? The timing of draws and paydowns directly affects your interest costs. Paying down mid-month lowers your average for the entire period, not just the days after the payment like a credit card on the reporting date. So a simple interest only example, run the numbers on a 40K average daily balance at 8.25%, and here's exactly what the math looks like during the draw period. Annual rate divided by 365, a daily rate of roughly 0.0226%, and daily rate times the balance, times that by 40 grand, and you get approximately $9 a day in interest. Monthly interest costs would be then running roughly $278 for the month. Interest only, principal untouched. So what happens after the draw period? Once the draw period closes, whatever balance remains gets amortized over the remaining 15 to 20 years. the payment now includes both principal and interest, and compared to what you were paying during the interest-only years, expect a noticeable jump. So during the draw period, interest only on an average daily balance, low minimum payment, principal unchanged. So $278 a month on 40K drawn on average throughout the month at 8.25% interest as an example. Then after the draw, you're now doing principal and interest every month significantly higher on whatever's left on the HELOC balance. So this is the moment that catches people off guard. 3 principles for using a HELOC responsibly. So given how the rate and payment structure work, here's how to approach a HELOC as a financial tool, not a trap. Keep it short term. The rate is variable. The longer a balance sits, the more exposure you carry against your home or an investment property, best fit for something with a defined payoff point, not an open-ended balance. Think about a fix and flip or a Burr method refinance, or even financing an Airbnb. Know your exit before you draw. Have a specific repayment plan before you drawing $1. A fix and flip has a natural exit, a sale. Without one, you're accumulating exposure with no plan to reduce it. Only use it on what builds or saves money. Real estate deals, business capital, deliberate debt consolidation. Yes, cars, vacations, everyday spending. No. If it doesn't make or meaningfully save you money, reconsider. Now, principle 1, keep it short term. Treat a HELOC as a short term tool, not a long term financing solution. The variable rate can move against you the longer you carry the balance, and the longer it's outstanding, the more your home is exposed to market fluctuations. So best fit projects or deals with a defined equity point or payoff point. A sale, a refinance, a business milestone with a clear timeline. The worst fit would be open-ended balances you're hoping to manage indefinitely while rates shift and your home remains collateral. Principle 2, know your exit before you draw a single dollar. It is safe to have it sitting there with zero balance, as you're not paying any interest on that. A fix and flip or short-term deal has a natural exit built in. You sell and the balance clears. Without something like that lined up, you're accumulating exposure against your home with no actual plan to bring it back down. So make sure you got a clear exit. With no exit, you're drawing against your home with no defined repayment trigger, just accumulating exposure and hoping for the best. Now, principle 3, only use it on what builds or saves money. Point a HELOC at something that makes you money or meaningfully saves you money. If what you're funding doesn't meet that bar, that's a sign to reconsider before you draw. Good uses, real estate deals and investments, business capital with a clear return, deliberate strategic debt consolidation. How we help with this? This is exactly what we walk through with anyone considering a HELOC, making sure the numbers, the structure and the strategy are all aligned before a single dollar is drawn. Real rate and payment, we show you exactly what your rate monthly payment will look like, no guessing, no surprises. Structured around an exit, we help structure the draw around a real exit strategy, not an open-ended balance with no plan. And it fits a bigger picture. We fit the HELOC into your full funding stack alongside whatever else you're using to fund a deal or business. I'm Mick Wadley from Gap Funding, and if you're ready to run the real numbers, if you want to understand exactly what your HELOC payment would look like before you draw a single dollar, book a call. We'll walk through your actual rate, payment structure, and exit strategy together. Hit that link below. It's gapfunded.com/apply. Worst case scenario, you walk away with a game plan. So Gap Funded, days not weeks. A HELOC isn't complicated once you understand the 2 periods and where the rate actually comes from. It's just rarely explained clearly. Now you know exactly how the math works, what the risks are, and how to use it responsibly. So let's go close something. If you loved this video, if you absolutely adored it, smack the subscribe, flog the bell, and I'll see you on the next one.